Hey, how's it going? I just want to go over some videos today. We're going to look at a few, two, maybe three, and just talk about how stupid and ridiculous this is. And it's not that the system is broken, it's that the system is outdated, because whenever these systems were first created, it's like, it's what we could do at the time. But today we could do better. And it seems like nobody wants to do it, so I'll do it. This first one is from a YouTube channel called House News. The title of the video is Transgender Activist Snaps, which she does not snap at all at Ted Cruz. Instantly regrets it. That must be like a popular little clickbaity title. Instantly regrets it. I see that one a lot, and it's like, no, that's not the case. I don't know what you're talking about. But this conversation is just trash. I'll have a link in the description below for this video and any other videos that I show.
It continues a pattern of the Biden administration of nominating individuals to the bench who have long careers as activists. Throughout the course of this hearing, you have explained some of your prior positions as simply representing a client. But when I look at your career...
And that's right. Whenever a lawyer takes on a case, they have to take it as their right, no matter what. Even though they might be completely guilty, completely wrong, that's not what the legal system's set up for. It kind of is, but lawyers look a lot into, you've done your procedure incorrectly. And an obvious example of this would be like if a cop comes and just randomly breaks down your door, or not your door, but say like a drug dealer's door. They know this is a drug dealer. They know they've got drugs in there. They know that they're dealing from their home. They go and they bust down that door, the whole thing's going to get thrown out. And it's because they didn't get a warrant to break into the place. And that's what a lot of a lawyer's time is spent doing, is looking at the system and saying, this wasn't done correctly, and then the whole thing gets dismissed. They get off. And it's like, well, yeah, it's like I don't want a cop to just randomly be able to bust down my door or anybody's door, even if you are a criminal. It's like, yeah, you do need to do this because, in part, I guess part of it would be there needs to be a paper trail to show that we need procedures done. We're able to go driving in vehicles that are made of massive amount of plastic, glass, and steel at high rates of speed, surrounded by strangers, because we all do the same. There's a procedure that we do, and it makes life a lot easier, more effective, and more efficient whenever we do those kinds of things. And we do this all the time. We simplify things so that we can just do things. How far would you get if you had to get to know every single driver that you were supposed to come in contact with during that one trip? You'd be lucky to go to one place. And so she's a judge now, and saying that that's the mindset that she has. It's like, yeah, that is what she was supposed to be doing. And I'm curious, was she a part of a law firm and she was handed this, or was she kind of working on her own? I think on her own.
Career, I don't see that. I see that you are passionately committed to a particular vision of the law.
I don't care. I don't care about this at all. Fuck Cruz. What the hell is he saying? Pardon my French there. But there are plenty of people out there who are activists, and some of them are good, or some of them are bad. That's what I want to know about. And it's like, is transgenderism wrong? Absolutely. But he doesn't state this. He kind of goes over a little bit, but it's like, this argument should be dead.
It has ranged from filing briefs in litigation in the state of Texas, defending race-based discrimination in university admissions, to most consistently transgender activism, and I would submit extremism. And this hasn't been one client you had in one case.
I don't care if it was extremism. What are you talking about? You're just using a bunch of fake buzzwords that don't mean anything. Because if you're talking about somebody as being extreme with some kind of religion, and they're just taking their holy book and they're just screaming it in the streets, it's like, okay, yeah, that really sucks and it's annoying, but they're not really hurting anybody either, though. So I don't care if there's some kind of zealot or extremist. It's like, well, what are you referring that to? Was she out there with explosives and with guns threatening people? That kind of extremist? It's like, that's different. It's just, he's just doing worthless grandstanding.
This has rather been a consistent pattern that extended when you were a lawyer for the state of California, that extended when you were a lawyer for the U.S. Department of Justice, that extended when you were a lawyer for the state of New York. In 3 different jurisdictions, you have been involved.
That's good, though, because then this is saying that, you know, she was involved in 3 different districts, jurisdictions, and she continued to do this, so she can't blame the law firms that she was working for at the time. It's like, no, because you were doing it here, and you were doing it there, and everywhere else. So you do have a pattern with this. It's like that. That's good to show consistency. But what we need is a website that has up-to-date, accurate information that is just, it has checks and balances like crazy. I don't understand why we continue to have the same dead conversations over and over and over again. I'm not interested in having a conversation with somebody over this. It's like, I want facts. I want evidence. I want the best of both sides of the argument. That's what I want. And then I want everyone to look at it and to have them divided up into the groups that they should be associated with. So it's like, I don't want to hear a lawyer talking about the medical field. It's like, you're not a doctor. Shut the hell up, you know, or you know, you can go ahead and talk and you can say your piece, but it's like, your opinion just doesn't mean very much because you're a doctor or you're a lawyer. You're not a doctor. And this is one of the problems that we have. It's that we have all these weirdos and wackaloos who are on Instagram and all over the place on all these social media accounts and sites that everyone's acting like they're experts. And that's like, oh yeah, that's really great. And it's like, no, it's not. It's a platitude. Platitude is just, they said something that sounds really nice, but it has no meaning behind it. It's like, oh, give money to the poor. It's like, why? It sounds nice, but it does absolutely nothing. How much money do you have to give a poor person before their IQ goes up? How much money do you have to give them before their work ethics change and they go and get a job and actually work and do like everyone else? Well, what is this magic number? Or are you trying to tell me that nobody's ever thought of giving poor people money before? It's like, if that works so damn well, then where's your proof? Because they've been doing that since the dawn of time. And there are still poor people all over. It's like, don't give me this crap. You know, it's like, if people are really incapable of taking care of themselves and they're living out there on the streets, which is, I care what they do and not what they say, because they'll say, oh yeah, I'll take this money, I'll do some good with it. It's like, no, you won't. You're going to go down to the liquor store and you're going to buy alcohol and cigarettes. You're going to go hang out with your bum friends and you're going to get drunk. You're going to get high. And then you're going to be in the same place as you were before. You know what the answer is for those people who really can't take care of themselves? And predicament is that it should be illegal and they should be taken off the streets and they should be put into some kind of like a retirement community, but for people who are mentally disabled instead of being left out there as victims for predators. It's like people who are just giving things for nothing, who are just enabling this stuff. Those are the villains who just donate and just give to these stupid causes and just randomly give people money. It's like you're a villain. And it's because those people, they don't have a clue. They've never flushed themselves out. They've never developed their morals and values and tried to decide, like, how do you help someone? You help people who are actually actively doing something. If you want to improve whatever, then you go find people who are doing it. Find out what it is that they need. For most of us locally, if you really wanted to help someone, find someone who's going to college. Those are people who are actively trying to help themselves. So help them. Or help anyone who's involved in any kind of trade, anyone who's trying to learn something, anyone who's trying to do whatever. You can do it yourself. Invest in yourself. Do it yourself. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I need to improve on my health, my diet, my exercise, or whatever. So I'm going to invest in myself, and I'm going to spend that money on a gym membership or on healthier food or whatever. So anyways.
Involved in litigation on the extremes of transgender issues. And in particular, you've carved out an expertise for yourself.
This whole transgender thing is just a lie. This is such a waste of time. They are accomplishing absolutely nothing. Transgender is just trash. It's all it is. It's people who are narcissistic, who are looking for attention, or they have some kind of mental problem that I don't know if there's anything that we can do about it, but saying that this is healthy, that this is right, no, that's wrong. I'm going to build this damn site. I'm so tired of this. Just a waste. Just people just doing absolutely nothing.
Using litigation to force institutions to allow biological males to use restroom facilities and locker facilities that are also used by girls, young girls, that are used by women.
I like what he says here.
And this has been a pattern. When you were a lawyer for the state of California, you filed a lawsuit against Crunch Fitness, a gym.
Oh, they're in California.
For not moving quickly enough to allow a biological male to use the women's locker room.
Crunch is here in Texas, too.
When you were a lawyer for the state of New York, you filed briefs against the state of Texas, against the state of North Carolina, again, advocating for biological males to use.
Why? She's a lawyer in New York, and she's filing against Texas, and what did he say, North Carolina? No, that's ridiculous. It's like each state should be doing their own thing and seeing what works and what doesn't and why. It's like, yeah, hey, you know what? Perhaps Texas doesn't want to do it because Texas believes that, no, there are men out there who will definitely take advantage of this and go into these bathrooms and these locker rooms and rape girls or molest them or whatever. And so we don't want to do it. And so for these places that do, it's like, okay, well then let's see what happens. You better collect all the data though. Don't you hide this. We want it all so we can figure out what's what.
Girls and women's restrooms. And the thing I find troubling about these arguments.
Here it
is it seems the women and girls never have any rights.
Oh, that's right.
That the girls that would like to shower next to someone who is not a biological male, who would like some privacy, their rights.
I love it. It's just like what that guy was saying.
Until you listen, how How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that when the police? That's the reason why I came down here today. I don't think Rod Serling could come up with a better script. Blame where it goes, which is at the shooter's ears. I'm the majority. School today and be ball over here, practice or anything. What I really came down here for is this.
Love this guy.
I've heard a whole lot of people in here talking tonight about this group and that group, domestic violence, blacks, these minorities and that minority. What I want to know is, when are you all going to start standing up for the majority? And here's who the majority is. I'm the majority. I'm a law-abiding citizen who's never shot anybody, never committed a serious crime, never committed a felony. I've never done anything like that. But it seems like every time we have one of these shootings, nobody wants to put the blame where it goes, which is at the shooter's feet. You want to put it at my feet. You want to turn around and restrict my right. Constitutional.
Yeah, that's right. What about the rights of these women who don't want it? And he's going to talk later about, no, there are cases, there are instances where the guys are doing exactly these horrible things.
Never seem to matter. And your pattern, it's not a single case. It is across 3 jurisdictions over and over again. In the Texas case, the brief you filed said there, quote,
part of the reason too why they go ahead and they do all this stuff for transgendered stuff is because it's such a small minority. It's like, oh yeah, we allow it. There's none that are here, so we're going to allow it because we don't care and we don't want to deal with it. It's like, what, Crunch Fitness that they were talking about? There was one. It's like it's real easy to say, yeah, oh, one, yeah, okay, whatever. There you go. Shut up, leave us alone. We're a gym. That's all we want to do. We just want people to come here and to work out. We're not into politics. We don't know anything about this. Yeah, we can do this one. And if they're smart and there's a problem with this transgendered person, then they should be allowed to, or should be able to still get rid of that person. That's because it's the same thing as being a landlord or any other thing, is that there's a lot of characteristics that make up somebody. And so you choose one of the many other characteristics and you deal with them that way. Which is, even if they go through and they allow this guy to go into the girls' locker room or the bathroom or whatever, it's like there's still plenty of things that that guy can do that would get him kicked out. If he is there approaching the women and doing horrible, disgusting things to them, causing problems, just fighting and arguing. It's like, oh yeah, well, that's against our policies too. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you're an activist or not. You can't be arguing with the customers. You can't be arguing with staff. This is something that we have for everyone. And your membership is revoked. No, you cannot go in there and steal the girls' underwear. That is theft, and that goes for everyone. You're no longer a member. You can't come here.
There is no data or tangible evidence in support of the claim that allowing people to use bathrooms corresponding with their gender identity will lead to increased violence or crime in restrooms. Do you stand by that statement?
I hate this, what she does.
Thank you for the question, Senator Cruz.
Shut up and don't say thank you. Well, why the hell are you thanking them? This isn't... No services have been done. He asked you a question. Who does that? Whenever you were in school and the teacher asked you a question, did you say, thank you, teacher, for asking me this question? It's like, no, nobody does this. What the hell are you doing? You're just wasting time because you don't want to answer.
So, again,
decorum be damned.
As an advocate, you advocate for the positions of your client. I haven't been an advocate for 3 years. I've been a judge. And when
3 years is not very long. And my question is simple. Do you stand by that statement?
Yeah, no kidding. It's like, just answer the damn question. Stop giving this little runaround. We don't need there's no private information of any kind that's being disclosed here. Do you stand by that or not? Holy crap, man. I mean, anyone who's before Congress, who's being asked a question and doesn't answer, there should be some kind of repercussions for not doing that.
Senator Cruz, it would not be appropriate or consistent with my ethical duties to my former clients to comment on my personal views.
That is exactly what you do, though. We want to know what kind of person that we're dealing with. You're not giving out sensitive information
About any case that I worked on. What my duty was to advocate zealously for my clients.
It was not your duty to go work for these places. You chose to go work at these law firms. In Texas, in New York, in California. You chose to do that. So now it's time for the piper. It's time to pay the piper. Isn't that the way the saying goes? It's like, what job do you get to go to and not explain yourself as to, well, why do you want to work here? How long do you want to work here? What's your job history? Let's see your resume. What happened here? What happened there? They ask questions. That's exactly what's going on. Well, what's going to happen if you give your opinion as to what your views are with transgenders and what's going on with all this stuff?
I have set aside the advocacy role and I now occupy a judicial role where what you're
Judge, your brief also contended, quote, in states where anti-discrimination protects...
I do like that. I love it that he just cut her off and said, basically, it said to me, fine, you're not going to answer the question. We're going to move on. You're not going to sit here and waste my time with this. So I do like it that he just cut her off. It's like she wasn't answering.
Protections are already the law. The predicted safety harm has never materialized. You made a bold, aggressive, factual statement, by the way. In North Carolina, you said safety concerns were, quote, unfounded. You were an aggressive advocate, an activist.
I don't care if she was aggressive.
And I believe the statements that you represented to the court, and those are statements that you're making as an officer of the court. I believe they were false, and they are extreme.
I don't care if you believe that they are false or not. I don't care what your beliefs are. It's like, yeah, it is false. Yes, all that stuff is. But it shouldn't be coming from your personal beliefs. It should be coming from the facts. And the facts is that you just don't get to change stuff because you feel like it. Oh, well, I feel like I'm a woman. Well, I feel like you're a dumbass. It's like, well, why should your feelings trump mine? It's like you want to dress up as little snowy, fluffy princess, whatever. It's like, I don't care. Do whatever you want to in your own private life, on your own private time. But whenever I'm out and about and I'm trying to get things done, it's like, I don't have time for your childish make-believe world, just like with all these genders. It's like, I don't care. You can take all that crap and you can shove it.
You testified to this committee that you were not aware of what happened in Loudoun County until this morning. I find that remarkable for someone who has spent years as one of the leading activists for allowing transgender biological men to use girls' restrooms and women's restrooms.
Yeah. That's just a flat-out lie. This has been her work. Loudoun County made national news. Probably global, I would suspect, because there's a lot of countries they just kind of watch what's going on in the U.S. Part of it's because we're a little more entertaining than the rest. we're just large, and so we got a lot of stupid stuff that's going on. So it's like, yeah.
It was in Loudoun County. Scott Smith, who's the parent of a 14-year-old girl, alleged the Loudoun County School Board covered up the sexual assault
Oh yeah.
by a gender-fluid individual
Yep.
against his 9th grade daughter, who entered the girls' bathroom in a skirt. And this individual was charged with 2 counts of forcible sodomy, 1 count of anal sodomy, and 1 count of forcible fellatio. The school district covered it up. They released this sexual predator, and the predator committed sexual assault again, twice. Why did you represent to the court that concerns about violent sexual predators committing violent crimes against young girls are unfounded and speculative?
Now, he does mess up.
Why did you represent that to the court?
And he messed up because this that happened in Loudoun County happened within, like, it hasn't even been a year yet. But she's been a judge for over 3 years, so whenever she was acting as a lawyer, this hadn't happened. So this was a bad example. But it's like that. It's happened other times, though, so I don't know why he didn't use a better example. I guess because Loudoun County's just fresh on everyone's minds, but still, it's like, no, there's been several cases that have made the spotlight. I mean, who cares if it's made the spotlight or not? It's like, list them. You know, that's part of the problem, is that how do we keep on top of all this? It's because we do not have a good site that has all of this information. And it should be where the people can do this anywhere and everywhere, where if you know of, if this has been going on where you're from, and there was a case that was brought up because there was some guy who was acting like a girl, went into the girl's bathroom and did something bad, it's like, you should be able to put that on the site. Be like, oh yeah, here's another example. Now, it would have to be verified. You just wouldn't get to randomly put this up. You would get to put it up, and then it would have to go through the checks and balances process that the site's got to verify this. And once whenever it gets verified, it's like, okay, and then here's all these situations proving that this is not good. It's like, yeah, you know what? You said this would be fine. Here's all these instances where it is not. And it's like, whenever just one of these happens, it's a big deal because it's a small percentage. It's like, this is what they say with crimes with the black community, is that it is incredibly high. It's like, yes, white people do more violent crimes than blacks, but there are more white people in the U.S. And whenever the black community is smaller, but they're committing so many of them, that means a large percentage. And it's the same thing with this. It's like whenever a transgendered person goes and does this, because there's so few of them, it means that actually a high percentage of them are, yes, they're kind of off their meds, and it's just wrong, nonsense, BS. Here's one that really upset me right here. This one is Supreme Court blocks 2 more QI cases, and this is talking about cops just being able to not be held accountable for breaking the law and from just flat out stealing.
Welcome once again to Leto's Law.
And this is from Steve Leto. His channel is Steve Leto.
Here's Steve Leto.
I know I've said this before recently, but today might be a record. The number of people who sent me the story. And this is an interesting story because I do talk quite a bit about qualified immunity here. And
so he's a lawyer from Michigan. I think he's from Michigan. And he's talking about all this stuff. And all these people are sending this in. It's like, well, wouldn't it be so much better if these people were sending this in to a website so that everyone can know, so that we can have up-to-date, accurate information on all of this, where everything is subject to change, But as it gets verified and certified and all that kind of stuff, it would get harder to change. Still not impossible. Still not impossible, just harder. It's like, wouldn't that be so much better? This happens a lot. People talk to their viewers. Viewers talk to the host or whatever. And it's like, I would rather see this effort going into producing this website where it's like, no, there's no more confusion. Here are the facts. And some of these things, it's like, no, they have a clear-cut answer. And here are the things where it's still ongoing. And this is where we are currently. Anyways.
The U.S. Supreme Court just struck down 2 cases where they could have ruled on qualified immunity in a better way than they did.
That's it, QI, qualified immunity. And this is something that officials, people who work in the government, or maybe it's just the police, where they basically, they're just immune to prosecution. It's like, that's stupid. There's no magic force field. There's no, just going through the police academy doesn't produce saints.
And their rulings, in essence, uphold qualified immunity at this time. And so we don't know if perhaps a better case needs to come along, or if they'll just never strike it down. But Supreme Court sides with police in pair of qualified immunity cases. The version is from the reviews from thehill.com, but it was widely reported, as most Supreme Court results are. John Cruz wrote this version for thehill.com, and like I said, it was sent to me by pretty much everyone. Qualified immunity is something that upsets a lot of people, and understandably, although quite frankly, every time we talk about it, there are a small number of people who say, no, Steve, qualified immunity is a good thing. It's necessary.
No, it's not.
So we'll talk about that in a second.
No, it's not.
But the Supreme Court recently sided with law enforcement a pair of cases that invoke qualified immunity. That, of course, is the controversial legal doctrine that gives police broad protection from lawsuits. And if you go to look it up in the law books, you won't find it. It's not a law passed by a legislature. It was a legal theory invented by the U.S. Supreme Court. They just woke up one day and said, you think police should be protected from lawsuits when they're doing what they do.
Why? Well, why are they allowed to get away with that? Judges, Supreme Court included, they don't get to make up the laws. That is what the legislative branch does. It's their job to do that. How did these pieces of trash, Supreme Court justices, get away with that? And as far as I'm concerned, that's a level of treason. Where were the checks and balances to make those stupid pieces of garbage responsible for just lying? They just lied. They just said, well, this is what we're doing. It's like, what? There should be incentives, monetary incentives for people to be able to file lawsuits against the government, get paid like $10 million. How much damage do you think's been caused by this? And so because he's going to talk about it here.
And they created a standard that is logically nonsensical, which we'll talk about in a second as well. In a pair of unsigned summary rulings issued without noted dissent, the justices reversed 2 federal appeals courts that had permitted lawsuits to proceed against officers in separate cases from California and Oklahoma that both involved excessive force. So people were suing the police, saying the police used
and in one of them, they stole a whole bunch of money. I saw another video like a day or 2 ago where I think it was in Oklahoma. The cops stopped this car, had a couple of guys in it that they were going to buy some farmland. And the whole thing sounded stupid. It's like they were going to, it sounded like to actually start growing pot. they had like $100,000 and they didn't even know what it was that they were growing. It's like, the hell you did. Who the hell takes $100,000 into an investment and they don't know what they're doing? Who says I'm going to farm and I don't know what it is that I'm going to farm? What the hell are you talking about? It's like, no.
Excessive force, and the appeals courts said yes, these cases should proceed to trial. The U.S. Supreme Court said no, they should not. The justices ruled the officers should be granted qualified immunity, which shields government officials from liability unless it's proven they violated a clearly established right, which is a difficult legal hurdle. And remember that the established right, the clearly established right, must be established in that circuit on pretty much identical facts. And so we've actually had the court say, for instance, that police can steal from a crime scene.
See?
Because in that particular circuit, there's no case saying they can't. But of course, you can never get that first case, because to get it, you've got to show that there's a previous case.
And
So anytime they create a standard that says, to meet this standard, you must show a prior case where someone's met this standard, it's an impossibility. Because no cases were ever brought before qualified immunity existed making those arguments, because qualified immunity didn't exist. And once it does exist, you can't find cases that meet the standard. And so what winds up happening is you wind up with these absurd cases where somebody does something that's so far beyond the pale that...
Why are they not in prison? You don't have to be a brain surgeon to understand the stupidity of this. Oh, well, we're not going to do anything against this crime and this criminal because it hasn't happened before? Oh, we have nothing in the records about this ever being a problem before, so we're not going to hear it. That judge or judges, whatever, arrested.
No judge in his right mind can actually say that cop didn't know that was wrong. But you have cases, like I said, where the allegation was that a police officer stole money from a crime scene. And they filed a lawsuit. The cop didn't defend himself by saying, I didn't steal the money. He defended himself by saying, there's no clearly established case that says I can't. And the court said, you're right.
So this is a great example of there should be monetary rewards for dealing with this corruption and abuse of power. It's like, yeah, being paid $10 million, it's like, yes, because it's going to happen. And putting this one person away too is not the answer. This judge, any of these judges, is not the answer. We need a change in the way that we do things. And one of the best things that we can do is by creating a great internet page that has up-to-date, accurate information where everything is there. The biggest challenge of it all will be making the website as easy to read and follow as possible. But whenever you kind of get it where you've got that really good format down, then the rest is just going to be butter. It's just going to be easy. It'll be fine whenever you get it all figured out. And there's plenty of time. And it should be subject and open to change. It's like, that's fine. But this whole stupid thing of, oh, we're just going to make stuff up. Oh, the wage gap. Oh, it's a complete lie. It's completely illegal. But we're going to treat it like it's still a thing. It's like, no, it's not. It can be subject to change. It's like, well, maybe there is. But until you bring something forward that says that this is real, something new, then no. The wage gap is a myth. There are too many variables to show that people are different. You know why? Because there's too many variables between me and you. For all the guys out there who are watching this, I am not like you. So if I'm not even like most guys. You're not like most guys. We're not all the same. It's like, I'm not some billionaire, are you? Okay, well, I'm also not a homeless on the street, but there are billionaires, there are millionaires, there's homeless people, poor people, smart, stupid men out there. So if men aren't even the same, how are you going to say that men are making more than women whenever men aren't even making the same as men? And then you have someone like that Megan Rapaport chick, that soccer chick, who's saying, well, men are getting paid more than us, it's not fair. It's like, you lying little trash girl. You stupid little child. You were both offered the same contracts and you refused theirs. You had the opportunity. And I think she just got kicked off the team. And it's because, because you suck. And you know what? She was smart for doing it. Because she's getting old. She doesn't have much in her, so she's going down in a glorious ball of flames. Getting a lot of attention, going on speaking tours. I'm sure she's getting paid a lot of money for all this stuff because there's just too many people who don't care. And for the people who do care, it's like, well, I thought this was the truth. Because we don't have a good site that has accurate, up-to-date information. And as we move along with this, I'll share all these checks and balances that I have. It's just, I don't want someone else taking it and running with it and making it into something that it's not, because you can corrupt anything. The way that I'll deal with corruption is with checks and balances, though. It's like, good luck. Whenever I really get it up and going, it's like, the control is not going to be with one person. It's going to be, it's going to be, it's going to be based off of facts. There are some facts that we absolutely know. We know where people are. You know, it's like, we know exactly where the president is right now. Somebody knows exactly where that fool is. That is a fact. We know what they say whenever they give a news conference thing, you know, and too many people take clips and they edit them and make them all into wrong stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, whenever a news organization or whatever does that, we need to know. I don't want to play fact checker for every stupid little damn thing that I hear every time all over the place. That's impossible. And that's what they're doing. They're playing these games. It's like, no. How about you go blow me? Anyways.
Let's throw the case out. So the lawsuits in this case both dealt with police responses to an emergency 911 call. The California case involves a man who was said to be...
I want to move on to another one. That's good enough. Don't forget to put it on that one. All right, so... Excuse me. U.S. is... he's talking about these... this one is... USA's collapsing leftist anti-work subreddit hits 1.7 million users as millennials embrace socialism. Yeah, that wasn't what they were talking about. They were like kind of, but differently. So get lost.
The USA is on the verge of collapse. That's not my opinion. That's a post from prominent leftist subreddit, Anti-Work. You may have heard of them because Fox News highlighted...
That is an opinion. That this anti-work subreddit is just all their opinions. It is not a fact that they are a bunch of morons who don't know what the hell it is that they're talking about.
...them recently, or you may have heard me talk about them. They're rather leftist. They are people who are upset with the current...
They are not leftists. They are retards.
...work environment, and they have some pretty genuine grievances that I would agree with, to be completely honest. But
no, they
all
don't.
in all, it is still a leftist subreddit, and I think, for the most part, they don't quite understand work. That's something common you see among a lot of urban dwelling leftist types. And I'll break that down because I'm sure many of them may be watching and they may be already, prepared to slam that button saying, Tim's wrong, it doesn't understand. No, let me talk to you guys. Let me explain why I agree.
I really don't like Tim's nonsense BS crap whenever he starts trying to talk about politics and finances. It's like, no, that's wrong. He's really good at pointing out the media just lying, and it's like, no, they manipulated this, they edited this, they tweaked this, or catching them. He does that real well. I really like it whenever he does that. It's like, yeah, go take care of that. But whenever he gets into this other stuff, it's like, no, I have no idea why you're saying this.
The USA is on the verge of collapse. Now, when I say it's not my opinion, I mean I have the post here I'm going to show you. But I agree with it to a great extent. The first article I have for you is from the New York Post. Michael Rappaport films alleged shoplifter boldly robbing an NYC Rite Aid. That guy walks in with a bag, just fills it up and leaves. And Michael Rappaport says, I can't believe I'm seeing this ish. This effing guy just filled his 2 bags up with everything in Rite Aid right here on 80th Street.
So?
On First Avenue, was walking on the street like it's Gucci. I was watching him the whole time, looking me in the face like, what's good? My man just went.
I don't care. That is not the norm. You are taking a random outlier. You know what? They could close off the entire store. They could put plexiglass up, and so you could only make it into a few steps into the store. And whatever it is that you need, you would have to tell somebody behind the counter what it is that you wanted, and then they would go get it for you. They don't have to let you into the damn store and let you browse around. They could change it to where you could come in and they could have touch screen monitors in like a room that could hold like, I don't know, depending on how big the store is, maybe 20, 30 people if it's a Rite Aid. And you could go to the touch screen and you could just scroll through and just find whatever it is you're looking for and start wanting all this stuff, and then the people in the back could just go and get it for you. They could do that. They could make everything available online like they do with Amazon. So no.
Christmas shopping in January had condoms.
Don't
the
care.
Shampoo. Dude just went Christmas shopping.
Don't care.
It's amazing. The store location was set to close because of this, leaving workers jobless.
Don't care. I don't care. You're talking about as if this means something. It's like it doesn't. Again, with like Amazon, it's like there are other jobs. Things do not stay forever. So name me all these businesses that have been around for 100 years. It's like I see businesses come and go all the time. Really big businesses like Blockbusters. Like we don't have VHS and DVD movies anymore. I mean, they're kind of there. DVD movies are kind of there, but they're going. Everything's being streamed and it's all online. It's like, well, why have that movie? Whenever you can watch that movie anytime, anywhere, instead of, well, you can go buy the DVD, but you're only going to be able to watch it if you have a DVD player that you can plug in, and the DVD player, or the DVD itself, and it's not all scratched up so that you can actually watch it. Or you could just stream the damn thing from pretty much anywhere. It's like, I'll take the pretty much anywhere. Or just having it like maybe on the cloud or something, and then just watching it from your cloud save service thing, whatever.
They're claimed in the caption. Eric Adams for NYC, he concluded. Saved by the Bell actor Mario Lopez was among the many commenters saying, dude looked up at security and said, sup.
I don't give a damn what Mario Lopez has to say. He's just a nothing actor. I don't even care if he was a big actor. What the hell does he know about anything?
We're going to be shutting down the store. Look at this. The video is the latest making the rounds on social media that showed purported shoplifters making bold thefts. Reported store losses are on the rise. With 719,458 in losses per 1 billion. Yes. My friends, I would agree with our good friends over at r/anti-work. 1.7 million readers on this subreddit. 92,166 right now as I'm filming this video, actively participating in the conversation. And my friends,
That's it. That's enough. The world is over. 1.7 million out of basically 8 billion people on the planet, because this is not just available to Americans. And even if it is just all Americans, there's over 320 million Americans, but 1.7. Shut up.
at a certain point, you have to say the crowd is not wrong.
Yeah, you can, because even a broken clock is right twice a day. Shut the hell up. It doesn't mean a damn thing. Majority rule is not facts. Stupid.
The system is not working. The current corporate structure is...
The system is outdated. The system worked back in the day because that was the best that we had. But today we could do better. We're not, and the system is so old that everybody knows how to exploit it now. And with the internet, it's easy to share those exploits.
is completely broken. Businesses make no sense. And unfortunately, I would say this of our good friends over at Anti-Work is they also still don't get it, but they get a good amount.
No, they don't.
They do understand a good amount.
No, they don't.
Now, we have these stories like Michael Rappaport showing the shoplifters. We've got this one. Fox News reporter films mass release of illegal immigrants into Texas and taxi to the airport as these people are just sent all about. And this is a video that shows...
It's like, why aren't they arrested? Because they're federal agents? It's like, so what? They are engaged in human smuggling, human trafficking. They should be arrested. They should absolutely 100% be arrested. It's like if they were dealing with drugs and narcotics, if they were dealing with prostitution, it's like we would be able to arrest them with that. So why can't we do this with this? It's like they're not above the law at all. Is this part of that QI that we just saw, where they're safe from being prosecuted? That they can just go thieve and do whatever they want to? I'm tired of it. If we were to go to the border and we were to do this right now, we would be arrested. I'm tired of the special treatment. This is not fair. This is not equal. This is a system of oppression. It oppresses us. It elevates them. It gives them the right to break the law. It's like, no. No, I want it to be fair for everyone. These people need to be in prison. They need to be fined. They need to be held accountable.
USA is on the verge of collapse, or I should say on the verge of, it's literally in free fall. And this is one thing that many of these anti-work individuals don't quite understand. When you flood a country with low-skill labor, I'm not going to be insulting, I'm saying these are people who have limited skills and they can do some tasks. When you flood a country with people who take up these minimum wage jobs and these entry-level positions, the market is saturated and wages depressed. This country is being torn to shreds by failed policy, by broken borders, and then by people refusing to work in these conditions. Well, I'll tell you this.
He's kind of right with that stuff. Refusing to work in these conditions? What are you talking about? The same conditions that have been there since the dawn of time? Well, you think farmers have not existed, that they just now existed, that they have not always had tractors and combines and all these huge vehicles. A lot of it was done by hand. My grandmother, for example, told me whenever she was a little girl, she had to go out there and work the fields, and that it took her like a month's worth of work before she got her first pair of shoes, because whenever she was little, they didn't have schools. It was going to the church. You had a class, school class, and it would last for a few hours, and then that was it. It was small. It was nothing. Well, I guess maybe it was a little bit more than that, but it wasn't very much. It wasn't until my dad was born and my mom where they had kind of more of the school that we think of today, where you had electives and you had gym and band and all that stuff. That wasn't always around. And you know what happened? You went out there and you worked with the environment. And it was hard and it was rugged, and people have been doing that forever. All of these vehicles and all these machines are new. Air conditioning is new. Electricity is new. Motors are new. And it's allowed for all of these things. And whenever it doesn't matter what their skill level is, whenever you have a whole bunch of workers and just a few jobs, these workers fight. Oh, I'll do the job. I was getting paid $30 an hour. No, I'll do it for 24. I'm really desperate. I haven't had anything. I've got a family to feed or whatever. I'll do it for minimum wage. I just need something, And then you have these illegal immigrants who are like, I got to do something. I've come a long way. I've spent a lot of money, and I can send this money back to my homeland, to the friends and family that I have there. And because of the exchange rate, they can do a lot more with the money there than what I can here. And they get on HUD and all these welfare programs, and they just completely take advantage of it. And we all have to work harder, because we're not just supporting this one illegal migrant, this illegal immigrant, but we're also supporting everyone else that they're sending money back home to. It's not a coincidence that, it's just like in this picture right here. It's like, those are not women and children. That's a group of guys right there. There's quite a few of them that they've come here to work. They come here to do the laborious jobs, because it's only what men can do. The women can't do these laborious jobs. The women cannot do construction. They can't put up the telephone poles. They can't work in the meat plants. They can't do a lot of these jobs because they're too labor intensive. There's a few jobs here and there. It's like, yeah, they can work in the meat plant, and they can work with this big machine that does a lot of it. Stupid.
Anti-work workers who are quitting your jobs. Your replacement is here, and they're willing to.
But that's what happens. And they drive wages down. But then it makes all of our taxes go up.
To work for cheap. This
about
means that you are a lost generation. And I feel for you. I really, really do. There's a couple other stories. Look at this one. We got brazen gang of thieves who don't even bother covering their faces, raiding an Ulta beauty salon, blah, blah, blah. You get it. How many stories do we got to show? This is exactly what's going on. Stores are being raided. And when you ask many of these leftists, they say, well, maybe if we had universal health care or universal basic income, this wouldn't be happening. And I'm like, dude, nobody needs to be robbing Ulta. For what, hair product? It's not about food, man. It's how the system breaking. Here's the post. Let me read this for you, and we'll talk about anti-work. The USA is on the verge of collapse, writes one user with 16,000 points. This is me.
I do not care. I do not care about some random person just... This is nobody with nothing. It's not verified. There's no checks and balances. As far as you know, this is just some troll somewhere. This is just some idiot kid in their parents' basement who might be like 14 years old, or some stupid college student. You don't even know if this person's in the U.S. writing about the U.S. This could be someone who's from Uganda or some crap. Who the hell knows? It could be Russians. It's Putin. Who the hell knows? It's like, you don't. Even if they put in a name, you don't know if that's true. There's absolutely nothing there. It's just any idiot gets to go on there and make a post. It's garbage. Garbage. Anyways, we're like an hour into this. I'm going to stop, but it's just, I just, all the time I see this. Let's do this. Let's make a site. I know what to do. I'll develop this. And so just start off right now, real simple. Just give the video a like and subscribe. That's all you need to do. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you later. Bye.